Hey everyone, talking about Corsica Furiosa by Parfum d'Empire. And this is a green scent all the way. So if you don't like green scents, you're not gonna like this. The notes are tomato leaf, grass, mastic or lentisque, hay, moss, mint, honey, labdanum, and pepper. And that tomato leaf is so present from the very beginning. So if you do like that note, definitely check it out. If you're curious about that note, this would be great to sample as well. In here, it really doesn't smell tomatoey in a balsamic way. There are some, usually niche, of course, fragrances that use tomato or usually tomato leaf, and it ends up smelling really balsamic, kind of vinegary, tomatoey. Even when they say it's tomato leaf, sometimes it really just smells more tomatoey, or you have ones like Italian Leather by Memo, and I really like the artistic side of that, but it's just too tomatoey for me to want to wear, especially the way it combines with the leather. In this case, this is a very wearable green tomato leaf scent, and that's just by far the strongest note to me is, that tomato leaf, and really supported by, especially at the beginning, sort of that grassy accord. I don't know if grass is really officially listed as a note or just Fragrantica has it, but there's definitely a grassy feel in this. Like really maybe fresh cut grass on a hot day. And that would be the best time to wear this for sure. This is not going to hit in winter, not even really in fall. This is a sunny day in spring or summer. Very unisex, maybe a tiny bit more masculine leaning, just by the nature that a lot of those type of really green scents are considered, but I think it's very easily unisex. The spice here is just that kind of fresh spice, like it just combines with everything into making this bracing, fresh green accord. There's really no sweetness here. It's not something like one of my favorites, Live in Colors by the House of Oud, where it has a real greenness to it, but there's also like, grapefruit and some citrusy stuff that also kind of adds a sweet freshness. No, this is just green, but very, very fresh. This is for if you're looking for that grassy type. You don't even have to care about tomato for this. I think that if you didn't know it was tomato leaf going into it, you might just think it was really plant-like. So this is like the plant stem type of green, where you're burying your face sort of in some fresh cut grass and just surrounded by nature. It's very cooling, so that's another reason that it's good to wear on a warm day. I wouldn't say it's a compliment magnet, so to speak, or super mass appealing, and that I would not recommend this if you've really only tried designers before, unless just you really want to kind of dive in head first to sort of the niche side of green. But I think that this is probably going to be appreciated more by people who have smelled a wider variety, especially of green fragrances before. But overall, it really kind of comes down to how you feel about green fragrances. I wouldn't even sample this in a cold situation, whether it's just a particularly cold day where you are, or if it's like deep in winter or whatever. I think it's just not gonna hit the same way. You're not gonna get the full experience of it. So I would recommend, though, sampling it on a warm day, especially if you like green. But even if you don't, if you're experienced enough in niche, I think that this is still interesting enough to try if you just kind of like to get a variety of scents to your nose, basically, to see how different stuff is. But you're probably not going to like it if you don't love green. And the dry down, that tomatoey zing and like really bracing freshness from the beginning starts to disappear. It gets a little bit more of sort of like kind of the deeper notes of the green and a little bit more earthy. But overall, it's just a natural green between kind of the sun hitting the grass and the earth under it through and through. And it's definitely an interesting scent. So for that sense, I would say it's pretty fairly priced. Let's see, it's $115 for a 50 ml. Granted, that's like the equivalent of $230 for a 100 ml, but it's very well done. It's unique. I think it kind of passes and, checks all the boxes for what makes something fairly priced in the niche world. And you can get it at Lucky Scent. I will put a link in the description where you can get a sample or a bottle.